Hello, and welcome back to the Have We Made It Yet podcast. It's the podcast where two creatives um, embarking upon their journey to making it talk about their experiences. And I am one of the co-hosts, the comedian Josh Yang.
And I am the actor, Lucas Ing.
Yes, he is. And at the top of our podcast, what we always like to do is we like to ask each other,
Yep.
have you made it yet? Because that's the whole point. We've named the podcast that. We might as well do it. So, Lucas, have you made it yet?
No, I have not made it yet. And as some of you might see from my background, if you are watching on YouTube, it's definitely changed because for the first time on this podcast, all three of us with our guest are all in different locations.
Wow.
And it's kind of exciting. So right now I'm in Vancouver and I'm back in my parents' basement right now because I'm quarantining
Mm-hmm.
because of COVID. But no, it's been an interesting week. I've gotten a few callbacks for auditions that I've done back in Toronto. So if I do book them, I do have to make the first flight back to Toronto to do those bookings. It's been interesting, just Ontario with a lot of new cases right now of
Oh,
COVID.
yeah.
So it's kind of making me wary, but you know what? The show has to go on. So if I get something, then COVID or not, man, we're doing it.
Yeah. You gotta sacrifice for the art, whether it's getting COVID or okay, no, you probably shouldn't get COVID.
Yeah.
But either way, everything like is going to be COVID. Your acting is going to be COVID. The material, the content I'm saying is probably going to be some kind of COVID influenced thing.
Yeah,
Comedians
yeah,
are going
yeah.
to go with COVID material. It'll all be COVID. But good luck
Exactly.
on that. Hopefully that works out.
Thanks,
And
brother.
yeah,
Mr. Josh Yang,
yes.
have you made it yet?
I have not made it yet.
Oh
I
man.
haven't I haven't made it yet. And the thing is, that I've been waiting for that one kind of big performance I did early in the year in January. And luckily today I got a little update on it. The
Ooh.
um the producer and showrunner of that show is gonna start getting into the swing of editing things.
Nice.
Um yeah, so we're gonna edit our clips, our sets together, and then we'll see about when they might get released. But I might finally be able to see an edited version of that set. So hopefully, a little progress there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's better than nothing, which has so
Mhm.
far been the case every week in, week out for me. But I think we've settled that intro. Anyways, okay. Enough about us, Lucas. I would say though, I'm excited about the guest this week because it's another blast from my past. This week's guest, we actually were working on a group project together while I was on exchange in the Vienna University of Economics and Business. And basically we did the group project together, added each other on Facebook, and then after the project hadn't really caught up until last year when I saw on Facebook he actually released a single. He released a song, and I had no idea that he was into that kind of like creativity and expressiveness. Because I mean, how often do you really know your group project people in school? But it was really exciting to see. I was pleasantly surprised. It was called Talking, and there was a music video. It was really well produced, which even mer, even further impressed me. And yeah, I've been following him since earlier this year. He actually made the move to Los Angeles to continue pursuing music, and it was very encouraging to see. And actually recently released another new song and music video called 2015. So knew I had to contact him and
Nice.
catch up and really kind of see how his experience has been and maybe get him on the podcast. And we are very excited that he's agreed to be a guest on the podcast this week. Please welcome. I knew him as Constantine Lederner, but the world will know him as Kontent.
Woo!
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Thank you for that intro, man.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. It's I think we mentioned this before, but it's always nice to see people that were in your life before, when we're all in this early stage of like trying to figure things out in university and college, and then seeing how people have decided, I want to pursue this new creative, passion driven career, and it is exciting to see that happen. And thank you for being on the podcast, for sure.
Thank you guys for letting me join. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Lucas.
No problem, man.
And great. And you know what? Tough question off the top, like we always do in all of our podcasts. Hey, Kontent, have you made it yet?
No, I have not.
Oh.
But isn't the journey the goal? Like, I have not, but I'm super happy where I am, and I'm pursuing making it. I don't know, if you can ever reach it fully, but I think that's the beauty of it, right? The journey of making it. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things as well, because I know the journey you took all the way from, because we met in Vienna, Austria, and then even then, like I didn't know anything about the music, but like I've talked to you since, you were still producing music then as well. And then later on in 2018 you moved to Berlin, was part of that music scene, and then going from there also came to LA, which it seems like, if you want to do music, LA, just for the big type of, labels and the big stars, it just seems like LA is the place to be. And that's a big move, going from Europe all the way to LA and making that commitment. I'm wondering, how was that experience, making that the decision? Because it's a big decision.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's funny because we met during my business past. So like, and it's funny to see now that you're, a comedian, I'm a musician, and we both went to business school. So like, those were like my days when I just, studied something to have like a cushion, something serious, so your parents don't freak out at night. But I was always doing music on the side. Like, it was always my true passion. I started playing piano since I was little. I played the bass. I started producing when I was 15, and I was always into that. So like when we met at university, those times for me were very inauthentic, because I was doing something I was not really passionate about. I was surrounded by people who were like better than me usually. But in my free time, I was always super passionate about music. And so the move to Berlin first happened because I produced a song for a friend of mine, an artist whose name is Maxis. The song was called Need You, and I produced it right at the end of my bachelor degree, kind of, and it kind of blew up back home. It now has like 3 million clicks on Spotify, and it got him a record deal in Berlin, basically. And he asked me if I want to join him and go to Berlin together. And for me, that was perfect timing, because I just finished my bachelor's. I was like, hell yeah, I always wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And I finished my bachelor's, so my parents were like, cool. So I was like, damn, okay, finally, I can do what I want. And so I went to Berlin with him and helped like produce in the studio, worked for his songs, basically, met other amazing people. And on the side, also started my solo project, like you mentioned, talking and all that stuff. But Berlin didn't really make me happy, because I realized that, I don't know how much you guys know about like the German music scene, but I realized if I want to make money in Berlin, sooner or later, I'm going to have to produce like German pop or German hip hop, which I both hate.
Really?
Like, it's not really quality music, if we're being honest. So like, and a good friend of mine, I guess maybe you guys had that in your life too. You have good friends that sometimes they just give you a speech, like with some Hans Zimmer music in the back, and you just be like, Damn. All right. My life is changing. Because I had a great guitarist friend who was very established in Berlin, and he'd been there for years. He told me, man, because I always loved American hip hop, and I always loved American music. Like hip hop was my passion. What made me start to produce and all that stuff. And he told me, man, I know what music you like, and I know you're not going to be happy staying here in Berlin. So you have to go to LA. I was like, damn, that's very far. But I knew he was right.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, I have to find a way to get to LA because my favorite music all comes from LA. And it's just, the mecca for the music industry, really. So I had another composer friend who lived in LA, and I asked him, how did you do that? And he just told me there's this program at UCLA Extension where you can do like a degree. And extension is basically just like, evening courses. It's a very short program, relatively cheap for American standards.
Right.
And after 9 months, you get a degree basically. And as a foreigner, you then get a work visa.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how it is for Canadians, but so for me, that was very awesome. So that's why a lot of foreigners here study at UCLA Extension because of that work visa.
Oh, okay.
So I'm studying music production here, and I'm super happy that I made the move here. But yeah, of course, it was rough because I didn't know anyone here. First, I just lived with host families so I could stay for free and not to work in the garden, so you don't pay rent.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea about LA, like the geography. I didn't even know where I should live, like what are good spots. So I just stayed with host families the first month, which in retrospect is very sad because that would have been the only month without COVID. Because I got here in January. So that would have been my month to fully explore LA, but I was staying with host families, so I couldn't like go party crazy or something. So I finally then found a room here in West Hollywood, and school started. I met cool friends at school. It was all Zoom. I mean, my whole degree is all on Zoom, basically. So of course it was frustrating, but I made the best out of it, and I really met some amazing friends, rappers, engineers, producers, and who live very close to me, so I can actually walk to them, which is a luxury for LA. So we make music together. And since I've been here, I've just been super blessed because it's the first time in my life, where I'm at a place where I'm fully happy. Because, in Vienna, I felt more like an outcast with my music, same in Berlin. So now I'm like finally at a place where I meet, like-minded artists, producers, and I'm truly happy. Of course, it's very far away from home, but that's just, I guess, some price you have to pay if you want to make it.
That's perfectly put. I mean, it really is. And the way you're describing it as well, it's it's always tough. You hear kind of these stories of whether it's actors or comedians or musicians going to like either New York or Chicago or LA. And I guess it's from like a foreigner perspective as well, because it just seems so unattainable. Like if you're Canadian or if you're from Europe, it's like, how do you even do that? But you'd be surprised, I think. Like all you got to do is just do it sometimes. Like once you do it, once you get there, you figure it out on your feet. And it seems like you've done that. And like, wow, yeah, given the current landscape of like the timing of everything, it's definitely a unique time and experience to have done that and then also be in this weird, messed up situation there.
Yeah.
Would you have any points of culture shock when you first arrived in LA? Were there any things that really surprised you?
Not really, because I really had the privilege of being abroad a few times in my life. So when I was 17, I was actually in Canada for a year.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Where? And yeah, that's the funny thing. Whenever I say where I was, Canadians be like, why?
Are you going to say Winnipeg or something?
Exactly. Manitoba, Winnipeg.
Oh, no.
That's funny, man.
Oh, geez.
I was in Manitoba for a year. But it was amazing. It was a lot of fun, and it really set the groundwork also for my English. So so that was my first, contact with, let's say, North American culture.
Right.
And I've been abroad for a full year when I was 17, so it was cool. And then when I was at the BU where we met at University of Business. I did an exchange semester in Virginia.
Nice.
So I was there for half a year. I had an American girlfriend. So I had the whole culture shock more or less behind me.
Right.
So this was very, home court basically. Like I knew what I was gonna expect. Of course, LA is also very extreme, and like I just have to get more adjusted to the whole big city life. But people might be snakes or shady, but that's just what it is. But no, so I had a good preparation before that. So
That's
Nice.
awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. Like you do hear a lot of like how LA it's I think I mean, I don't know if it's like geography or whatnot, because there's a difference, almost like an opposite difference between like New York and LA. New York is like everything's super dense, compact. It's like, everybody's kind of hustling all the time. LA is a little more West Coast, a little bit more laid back, but also really spread out. But then LA also does have that thing where it's like you are either what you do, or you are based upon what you can do for me, that kind of thing. Because everybody is essentially there very specifically to make it. And it's like, it is because it's so grueling. Like it can be tough to like, you gotta do what you can, but then it's also not the healthiest environment. Like how have you handled that kind of mentality shift to something where it's like, it's better to be in like a supportive environment, but you may not always get that, of course.
yeah, I mean, you just got to really become great at reading people. For
Mm,
me, it's a problem. I'm sometimes very naive because I come from a small town, right? And like I come from the mountains, basically.
yeah.
And if you're being an asshole in the mountains, like the whole town knows, and that's it for you. So people are very nice, and like you can't really pull some mean things. Whereas in big cities, that's the problem. You can really just be super mean, and no one will find out. But yeah, you just really have to have a good sense of human beings, who's really genuine. I was lucky that I really made some good genuine friends in the beginning from school,
Mhm.
first and foremost through school.
Mhm.
And so yeah, you just got to take everything with a grain of salt, because people are always going to be talking, yeah man, and everything is great and we can do this and that. You just got to really have no expectations of anyone, and you're going to be good. But yeah, I can see how it can really be rough for some people,
Yeah. um
especially
No.
for women too.
oh
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, I
'Cause-
feel like that's a whole nother, no, whole
yeah,
nother area, because like LA, you're gonna get also like some of the most beautiful people in the world, just based upon the business and like modeling, acting, all that kind of stuff. So then
Mhm.
even it's probably all the type of things we deal with like on a day-to-day basis based upon like how we look or whatnot is just heightened like to an
yeah.
extreme level.
Like I had a few sessions with a great singer, and she told me like I'm the first producer who doesn't try to hook up with her, like like who doesn't try to hit on her, like who keeps
Really?
it
Oh,
professional. I'm like, damn, that's very sad that I'm the first. Like,
yeah, that power element, that
Uh-huh.
that element where it's like, oh, everybody wants to make it, and if somebody who has power and like somebody making it knows they have the power to help them, then you get into this corrupt, field, and power corrupts absolutely. So it's
yeah,
one of those
Mhm.
things. It's hard to stand by, but yeah.
Yeah, dude. You touched upon a brief bit about your music and everything like that. So you have your three singles out with Talking, Vivaldi, and 2015 right now, right?
yes, yes.
Um, like you have a really laid back delivery, which I've been hearing a lot right now. It's like it's more like I Love Mackinnon kind of thing, and like your low timbre of voice
Mm,
is like a Tyler the Creator kind of feel to it.
yeah.
What other music do you listen to really influence and inform your work?
So I love alternative hip hop. I mean, like you just
Mm,
mentioned, Tyler the Creator. I love that. I
Yeah,
love everything that's a little bit more weird,
nice.
especially with rap.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I also love, Kanye West, Pharrell, Kendrick. I like my heroes, but I also came from, as a teenager listening to bands like, Coldplay and all that soft stuff too.
Mhm.
yeah.
So it's also in my music. You might have that soft touch to it. melancholic vibe. Like 2015 has a melancholic vibe, and I just like that too.
Yeah.
So that's really where I draw my inspiration. Usually, alternative people who try to make things different. Yeah, change the status quo.
Yeah, dude. Like when I heard some of your tracks, like especially the beat behind 2015, it had like a Frank Ocean kind of vibe to it just because it's so melodic. It's not just a beat. It was literally,
Thanks,
it had
man.
melody lines. It was really well produced, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Frank Ocean's another hero. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, no doubt. Yeah, so I was also looking at your talking video. What was the reason behind the 80s fitness aesthetic?
That was my friend, the director,
Oh,
Stephanie.
okay.
She just heard the video and she had that idea, yo, we're gonna do 80s, and she loves editing and I love editing too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, we're gonna have this crazy weird gibbering effect. And I was like, I'm all in. So she really took that whole idea,
Yeah, yeah.
and her sister's a makeup artist, so they all dressed us up, and I was just happy. I just thought this was amazing.
That's awesome.
It's really all credit to her. I did not contribute much.
Yeah, dude, like those four dancers and then also you periodically coming in with a big turtleneck. I'm like, man, that's where you get the contrast right there.
But it all made sense in retrospect, because I mean, not saying it has a super deep meaning, but the fact that everyone's catching that gibbering effect, like in the first it's just one and the others are pissed off at it, so it's like talking of people, right? So like it does make sense that it's like kind of a disease that spreads, and at the end everyone's doing it, and then it's cool. But in the beginning, just one of them gets it and they're all looking at him like, what the hell? So it's about, people talking behind your back. So it also did make sense in that regard.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
And there's a couple lines in there where it's like now you're able to kind of like break free from the previous misconceptions or like people talking about you, that kind of thing. In terms of like how you approach like writing your songs moving forward as like content, like what is the type of like message or the type of meaning like you want to aim for?
So I mean, like my name is Content, so substance. I really want to just have substance to my songs. It doesn't have to be super deep every time, but I just want some type of substance, that people are touched. I might also maybe make some ignorant songs at one time, but I still want to have that, at least musically, it's got to be, because I produce my stuff. So it's also got to have some just content to it. That's very important to me. I don't want to hate on any genre, but like I don't really do like regular trap stuff. I want to make it a little bit weirder. I would just want to have it, more substance and content to it, really.
And I know you're part of kind of this collective, the Open Studios, that you've kind of grouped yourself with. How was that experience? Were those like friends also from the same music program?
Yes. So IB Shocker, the main guy from Open Studios, and Evan, I met him in a Zoom class, like just like talking with you guys.
Yeah.
And we just found out that we lived 10 minutes away from each other. And I was like, hell yeah, because I didn't have any friends at that time. I just moved here. And so we just clicked, and I always go to their house, and they have a nice home studio, a big one. And they're just basically an artist collective. So there's him, there's AG Lexus, who's a singer. There's also videographers, like the guy who did my 2015 video, NTR Visuals. He's also part of that. And, they were all super supportive, helped me make that. So it's just awesome to just have a squad, where everyone's super focused, and we're all here in LA trying to make it, like your podcast.
I mean,
and
yeah, that is really lucky, because like I've been kind of seeing however other like comedians, established professional comedians, like try to break into it. And like I'm just seeing one clip for Steve Martin on Masterclass, and he mentioned a thing where it's like, if you want to make it in comedy, you got to go to where there's comedy, right? So essentially, if you want to make it in music, you got to go to where there's music and like be with other people who are really into what you're into. So the mere fact that you're able to find like a group of other musicians and artists is only going to help.
Yeah, and it's just so beneficial for everyone. Like because I have that pop background from Berlin, so I can really help them shape their songs, like change ups. And they were never used to that because they're like mostly rappers who just
Mm.
rapped over a beat straight up, and that's it. So I just help them create these songs more, bring it more to song structure. Whereas I can really learn from them, just being a non-native speaker, rapping in English, and I always get great feedback from them, and it gives me confidence because I was always very insecure about my rapping because it's not my first language. But hanging out with them really gave me the confidence because I know if they think it's good, and then I got the approval, and I'm learning from them.
Yeah. On that note, though, about your rapping style, because you mix singing in with your rapping too, is that an intentional thing, or did you just not want to have another person doing the hooks for you?
It's intentional, not in the beginning, because I feel like because it's my first three songs, I think it's important to just set a ground first.
Mm.
So with no features, but I do want to definitely have singers later on because I know I'm not the greatest singer, but like I just thought it was important in the beginning just to have that, just content with no features,
Yeah.
to show I can do that because I can do hooks, but of course I would love to have some amazing singers next year, which I will definitely do. I just thought in the beginning my first singles should be all just myself, and
Okay.
then I'm gonna definitely collaborate more.
I hear you, man. And then also, like, just going through your IG, and you also briefly mentioned upon it too. You're a multi instrumentalist. Like you said, you play the keys, the bass, and also saw you playing the guitar too on your Instagram.
Mhm.
Um, how much of knowing basic theory and basic instrumentation has helped you create and produce your own songs?
Very much, a
Yeah.
lot. I know, like, I just had a session 2 days ago with an amazing singer from the East Coast,
Mm.
pretty established, and it was over Zoom. And of course, you're like a little bit nervous because like you got to really deliver on the spot. But the dope thing is for me, I always know, if everything goes wrong, worst case, I just sit to the piano and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Like even if I might not have the coolest sound ready yet, but worst case, I'm just gonna play piano and we're gonna find something. So of all the sessions I had with other artists, that was always my last help, my go-to, the instrument. And I'm super happy and super grateful that I learned them because I feel like as a producer, I'm not saying you have to. You can also make amazing songs without knowing any theory. I'm
Mm.
just saying for me, having sessions with artists where there's pressure and time, time pressure, super helpful, super helpful.
Nice,
nice.
nice. No, no, because I there is like there's engineers and then there's also like creative producers such as yourself who can help with the creation of the song itself. Um, when you do meet with a session artist and a vocalist who has an idea, and they're and they're, for lack of a better term, they're what do you call it? They're just when they can't think of an idea themselves too. Um, is it up to you then to pursue more ideas or to give them more inspiration then?
Yes, I mean, preferably you should hopefully be with an artist that has a vision. That's usually what established artists all have, I think. And they all kind of they should know where they want to go. If they have no idea at all, then of course it's going to be rough,
Yeah.
because you can't really have the vision for the artist. You can just guide
Mhm.
them. So hopefully you should try to have sessions with artists who know what they want, and then you can just assist. But yeah, you can always, of course, try an idea, but at the end of the day, it's got to be authentic.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Especially since like we're talking with you now and you just released the first single within the United States within your time here,
Yeah.
2015. Very clearly it's referring to the year 2015. So I'm wondering then like how you came to that song, whether it was something you started in LA and like you were able to do it from start to finish here with all of kind of the people you know or you met and as you're learning. But yeah, so how did that 2015 come to fruition?
No, so that's an older song. So most of
Mm,
the stuff that I'll be releasing this year, so the next one also, the third one is pretty new, but the next one and this one, I did them all like a year ago at least.
okay.
Um, But yes, I finished them here because at university I just learned how to how to engineer my own music,
Nice.
which I did not know before, and
Mhm.
that was a game changer for me because
Yeah.
I was never fully happy with mixes I received because, you know, when you're a producer, you're picky about your own sound.
Mhm.
So I really wanted to learn it also to save money. And like, so I learned that really through school. We had an amazing class about it and I figured it out. And so this is the first song actually that I mixed myself.
Nice.
Um, so that can be accounted to the time here for sure.
Yeah, because like it definitely feels like based upon I guess the difference between like talking and Vivaldi, like you can see, I guess not just in the sound but also in the music video that there's just it kind of, you know, through the passage of time and experience, it looks like it's been elevated in quality, for
Thank you.
sure. Yeah, no, it was great to see. And it's also nice that you happen to know somebody who was a videographer, so it like really was able to just get right into it.
Yeah, like amazing. And we shot the video, I mean, here in California. So we went to Topanga. Like you see in the video, it's this big meadow, and then we went
Mhm.
to the beach, Malibu, and that was just amazing because, you know, because I couldn't have done that back in the mountains. So it was also cool to have that stamp of, you know, LA in the video.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
That track, of course, like when you first hear it, it's a very melancholic, and it tackles like that theme of like nostalgia and at times loneliness too. Of course, like there's a certain type of a headspace that you need to have when you write that type of stuff. But can you go into detail about what specifically inspired that song?
Yeah, so in 2015 was the last time I was fully like in love with a girl.
Uh,
So this was when I was in the US actually.
mhm.
Mm.
Um, and so I thought, man, I really want to, because I never wrote a love song before.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, damn, everyone's doing these love songs. No, but I thought, man, I really want to try to capture that feeling
Yeah.
of just being helplessly in love and like super naive and like, and so I really, that's the verses is really just me rapping from my past point of view from
Mm.
5 years ago, just being like crazy in love and like naive. And I just really wanted to capture that because it's such a beautiful feeling. And um yeah, nostalgic as well. And because then people can relate, because I mean we've all been there at one point. So that was the whole goal of it. To me it was just the year 2015, but others might go through it right now, or it was like a year
Yeah.
ago.
Oh man.
And then, and the bridge is more like in the presence, in the present, reflecting. The bridge is like, you know, being that, you know, every moment you have, you can be grateful for it, and in retrospect it's all great memories, and even if
Mhm.
things end. So yeah.
Man, I just realized it's like, at least for myself, all their like major girlfriends were on exchange. I'm
Oh,
guessing for all of us.
Oh
well,
really?
yeah, me too, because I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
go on
Also me.
another, I did go on another exchange to Beijing before, and that's where I also met my first girlfriend. So it is kind of interesting
Yeah,
when you say that. It's like, well, I guess that's part of the exchange experience. You go
It,
somewhere else, and then
it is, man. Your
you
mind is just in a different setting.
oh,
yeah.
totally.
You're just like, I don't know what it is, but it always happened to me too. Even when I was just on vacation, always things happen like that.
Yeah, I feel like
Content.
it's, could it just be like you're not kind of held back by history per se, because you know you're in
Yeah.
somewhere new, you don't have to feel like you have to be the same person that you were before. I guess to take it back to kind of like how you've moved to LA, do you feel like that move and environment as well has allowed you to like
Mm.
go somewhere that like you've pushed past maybe a boundary you might have had in Europe that was just like might have been stopping you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the awesome thing about here in LA, because like people always ask me, you know, what do you like more, LA or Europe? And like, of course, I love Europe, like just, you know, growing up there and all that. But like the food and all that stuff. But the dope thing about LA is really like what I appreciate also about American people here is you can really be who you want to be.
Mm.
Like
Hmm.
people really let you, you can really just claim, you know, I'm content. I want to be the best producer in the world, the best artist in the world, and people be like, all right, cool, like I believe you, like you get a chance. Whereas back home in Europe, it's more like, who do you think you are? Like it comes off very arrogant.
Mm,
There's a different level of, like, here it's not considered arrogant. Back home it would be arrogant, right? So a different level of confidence. So that was very liberating. I think if you want to have a creative job, LA is amazing because you can really be who you want to be, and no one's going to judge you, or people are generally more supportive. Be like, all right, cool, prove yourself. So now I'm just super confident, to say I'm Kontent, I'm an artist, I'm a rapper, I'm a producer, and like it doesn't feel weird at all because it's just really what I want to do, and it's my life. And whereas maybe back in Europe, back home, I might have still had some doubts, or I don't know. So that really liberated for sure.
That's so true you bring that up, because like we've talked to previous guests about this very thing about imposter syndrome, and how like when we're in Toronto kind of still, anytime we say, I'm an actor, or Josh says he's a comedian, it still feels a bit fake at times. But I guess in LA, if you say I'm a comedian, people are like, oh, cool, where have I seen you? Where have you done shows? It's like it's legitimized, and that's so awesome that you found your space in LA like that.
Yeah, or they'd be like, yeah, me too. Or I know 5 more friends who are comedians, because it's just so normal. Like everyone here is just an actor or a musician, really.
That's or you're at like half the people in a coffee shop in LA just working on a screenplay or just writing.
Yeah,
or everybody's
exactly.
just doing. You can't throw a ball without hitting a screenwriter in LA, probably.
Yeah, and it's also totally normal that people have other regular day jobs. People don't look down on that. It's just the hustle here. It's like, of course.
Yeah. How have you been doing handling that in terms of like the financial element? Like, have you been doing some odd jobs here and there? I know you mentioned you did the gardening in order to get that sweet rent.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. That was awesome. And I applied for the only job I'm allowed to do. I'm only allowed to do one job because of my visa.
Really?
So yeah, because I'm on a student visa, so I'm not allowed to work. But there's one job I was allowed to do, which is at the museum on campus. And like I was super lucky again, man. Like I got really employed, and the next day they shut down for COVID. So I still gotten paid during COVID, and like I'm still getting some money. So that was really amazing and lucky, or like, fate, I guess. But
wait, so you managed to get employed, go in on the first day, and then they shut down, so they kept you on the rolls?
yeah, so they didn't just call everyone off. They kept most of the employees because it's I think it's affiliated with the campus, with university. So they have enough funds, so they just kept paying most of the people. Of course, they cut it down now, so now I have to maybe see for under the table jobs. We can cut that out in post, but no,
you gotta do it.
Yeah. So, but that was super lucky that I got that job. So I've not worked one day there yet. Hopefully they're reopening soon, because I would like to get some hours in.
Yeah.
But it's just with COVID, I know they keep postponing the opening deadline. So like,
it's getting pretty serious, especially like because you were in the thick of it in the California spikes during COVID, and then now you also have to deal with the wildfires. Like how was that period of time, especially because like you're not only in a new environment, like you're trying to make it, now you're also trying to not fucking die.
Yeah, that was rough, man. So I mean, first COVID started, but then I met my friends. I was like, I was in a good mental space. Then the riots happened. Then like
right.
the riots happened, and it was again like a curfew, right? 6 p.m. All our phones would be ringing, and you have to stay at home after 6 p.m. So I started getting depressed. I was like, damn, like, again, like shutdown, because it was just about to open up after COVID. Then the riots happened, so you had curfew, and then COVID spiked again. So I was like, damn. And then that with the air happened. That was really rough for me, because like,
right,
being from the mountains, I was spoiled to good air. So the fact that I can't leave my house because the air is bad, that was really crazy for me, because like, and I like to exercise and stuff like that, and that was really rough. So it's just been setbacks, but I'm still happy, I still have good friends around and you get through it, but it was for sure a challenging year. Yeah, definitely. You have had to do some soul searching and let's try to stay in a good mental space.
Have you been able to take kind of those experiences and churn out some content, if I may use a pun?
Yeah, of course. I'm always super, it's an inspiring time. Like no writer's block whatsoever. Like it's, so that's a good part of it for sure.
Nice. And I think we're pretty much coming up onto the time, but I think before we go on to our little palette cleanser game, word association game at the end, we're talking about like the making it element. Asked you at the top of the show, like, have you made it yet? Now that we've gotten to get a sense of like knowing you and your history and kind of where you're going, like right now, how would you kind of formulate your idea of like making it? Because like you got your single out, you're going to be creating more music, but it's like, what is the next goal for you on that path?
So the next goal for me is to get my music to the people. Like I feel like my music, my quality, everything is there. Now it's just about promotion and about, that's really the difference between like independent artists and major artists. Like they have all the promotion and that's where you see the big gap. And that is my next goal, to like reach as many people as possible, to really develop a fan base right now online, of course. So get some good streaming numbers, get onto playlists. That will be my next goal, so that you're validated. And then once COVID hopefully is over next year, perform live and really develop a core fan base. And because if you have a core fan base at one point, you can really live off of it. And that's my idea of making it, really live off of music, just be sustainable. And so that would be my goal. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's definitely something we've heard before. Lucas as well has mentioned before. If he can just make a living off of it, then that would be the dream.
Yeah,
man. So you don't have to work at the museum anymore, man.
Exactly. I mean, I never did so far, but yeah.
Hey, putting in the system. I love it,
man. Yeah. But yeah, let's go on to that word association game. Yes. So I guess I'll start off with my 10. So content, the hard part's over. Or this, you know what? This might actually be a hard part because it's like asking people to like reveal your immediate thoughts. But for our end of our podcast, we like to play this word association game. So I'll have 10 words. Lucas will have 10 words. I'll go through my 10 words first. And after each word, say the first word that comes to your mind, or the first image, or the first idea, and we'll just see where it goes.
Yeah, one word.
Well, yeah, one word, or idea, a couple words. It's all good. But yeah, so clear your mind.
Okay.
Nice.
Enter a period of calm, and your first word is family.
Mom.
Pineapple.
Delicious.
Rain.
I miss it.
Alone.
Okay.
Motivation.
Making it.
Kumquat.
What was that?
Kumquat.
I don't know what that word means. I'm foreign.
That's true. It's like a fruit. I think it's a fruit.
Kumquat.
Kumquat. Yeah.
I would need a picture. I would need a picture. Sorry.
It's also spelled with a K, so it's like KUMQUAT. Kumquat.
I didn't know what it was too. Don't worry, man.
You know what? To be honest, I don't really know what it is either. I've just heard it before. Okay, next word. Mountain.
Home.
Yeah.
Tightrope.
Wait, what's a tightrope again? I'm sorry.
No, it's like
Look at the rapper's vocabulary, please. What's a tightrope again?
It's where like a kind of a acrobat walks on a tightrope suspended. Like balance. Yeah.
Okay. Tightrope. Yeah, balance, I guess.
Balance. Okay, next word. Satisfied.
After making music.
And finally, ending.
Nowhere near.
Ooh,
Nowhere
I
near.
like it.
Nice.
All right, Content, you ready in your Zen
I'm
space?
I'm ready. Bring it.
Awesome. Cool. First of 10. Master.
Kanye,
Oh, I like that. Tupac.
legend,
Nice. Label.
not important anymore.
I like that. Record.
Old stuff.
Old, yep.
Produce.
Reduce or produce?
Produce.
Making it better.
Sheets.
Sheets. Like bed sheets.
Whichever type of sheets that comes to mind.
Comfy bed.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Wrote.
Always changing.
Nice. Stage.
I miss it.
Oh,
I miss it too. We all miss it.
We all do.
Base.
Motivation, passion,
Ooh.
second love, first love.
Ooh, here we are. Okay, that word hit then, man. Okay.
Yes.
And the last one, content.
Important.
Give it up for content.
That's it. Thank you to Content for
Thank you,
joining
guys.
our podcast. Yeah, it's been great talking to somebody who's really going for it in LA.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys having me, man. This is amazing, and keep doing your thing. This podcast is awesome, and your personal journeys of making it. I think it's beautiful.
Oh, dude.
Hey,
To you too, man.
to you too as well. And like that's the thing where like I was also really interested in like trying to get you on, and then also like just to promote you as well through everywhere we can. What are your handles? Where can people find you?
My handle is everywhere. It's only content with a K. And yeah, on every social handle. I also got my own website since recently, contentmusic.com.
Nice.
And yeah, thank you guys.
No problem.
You're welcome. Lucas, what are your handles?
Excuse me. You can find me at Lucas John Ing, NG again, no vowels, across social media. And Josh?
For me, at Josh Yang Comedy across everything. But yes, please also like and follow and subscribe to the Have We Made It Yet podcast, HWMIY podcast. Maybe we should come up with like a jingle for that, because HWMIY is kind of hard to like for people to remember. Maybe we should come out with something. I don't know. Either way, please like, subscribe, follow us there. Like and subscribe to Content. Follow him on like Spotify. Yep, Spotify.
Yes.
Okay, Spotify as well. And I will post everything links down in the description below. But yes, thank you to another great episode from Content. Great. We'll see you guys all next week.
All right. Peace.